Hello everyone, this is John from MtG Modern Ad Nauseam, and here we are for the wrap-up of this league number 5. So altogether we went 2-3 for this league number 5. So this is the first time, I'm pretty sure it's the first time that we don't get to the 3-win threshold in the channel. So that would be the worst result we've got so far, and I would say we can be pretty disappointed because once again the matchups were favored for Ad Nauseam, pretty much all of them. So it's a bit disappointing that we couldn't get through with more wins. But if we look at the deck, so what happened is I just removed a Pact of Negation main, so I still have the 2 Pact of Negation in the sideboard. To make some space for a Thoughtseize, for a couple of Thoughtseize, and I traded this with a Phyrexian and Life and a Pact of Negation. So the overall 75 has not changed. It was just removing Phyrexian and Life and a Pact of Negation. The rationale was Pact of Negation is more or less all or nothing. We usually want to have the 4 or want to have 0. So having 3 in the main, because we spend most of the time sideboarding it out, especially because it seems that on MTGO most of the matchups aggro. So I felt comfortable saying let's remove 1 because we still want to have some in our main, and make place for Thoughtseize, which is something that's good against pretty much everything. That would increase our matchup against it would make our bad matchup better. So even though we play against Jund or Infect, all those matchups that are difficult, if we can be on the play and get the Thoughtseize turn 1, that will help us tremendously. So I thought it would be a great idea. Technically we didn't draw it. We really didn't draw it in our opening hand, pretty much never. So we never did a turn 1 Thoughtseize, so we can't really say whether it's game changing or not. We did draw it in a few in 1 or 2 occasions. I remember against Spirit, and it was great. So it happened that the Spirit had nothing in their hand, but if they had, they would have been completely screwed by this Thoughtseize. It's just the fact that using Thoughtseize just before the combo, if you have this spam black mana, that's great. It's the equivalent of another Pact of Negation, so that's why I'm comfortable removing a Pact of Negation for a Thoughtseize, because at the end of the day it can be used as with a Pact of Negation effect, which is pretty much discarding a counterspell. Otherwise, the list is pretty established. We've played it quite a bit. We're playing the spells. The 4 City of Brass, I think they haven't lost us a game or anything. I'm still quite happy with this. So good thing about City of Brass, they do deal damage, but I think it's alright. We can handle 4 City of Brass. I'm happy to keep this. Because on the other side, I don't remember being colored screwed, and the fact that he enters untapped at any time, it's a big advantage. In terms of sideboard, Mana League was Mana League is not good. It's not good mainly because we don't know when to put it in, what to remove, and I would say the main problem, if we can call this a problem, is our other cards are too impactful. Pact of Negation, Leyline of Sanctity, Slaughter Pact, all these cards are very powerful. They cost 0, they synergize very well in the deck. A card that like Mana Leak, which is great. I mean it's a very good card. It's just that in this deck it's our 14th and 15th card in our sideboard, and we always have something better to bring. And when we get to should we bring Mana Leak, it's always about, okay, no, we need to remove either Phyrexian and Life, so starting to remove Piece of Combo, or starting to remove Lotus Bloom, Pentat Prism, and then we start to be uncomfortable because we dilute our combo. So every time the discussion about Mana Leak is very tough when we get to sideboard. and we end up not putting in it. So I don't think we actually put it in any of our match, especially when we play against aggro, which was pretty much the case for this league. It's just not ideal against aggro. I think it's been since the beginning of the league that I play Giga Draws. I never put it once, simply because we've never played control. And I'm assuming that I'm gonna have to remove that card in the future, even though I'm sure that this is an amazing card. It's just we don't see control in this MTGO leagues. Patrician Scorn, it helped us once in the last 5 leagues. I still believe it's a very good card, but probably too narrow. And since we are playing mainly against aggro, I will probably put some more answer for aggro. And the card that I'm most likely going to bring in the future, and I just got it, is going to be a Supreme Verdict. It can be cast for us. It can be cast turn 3 if we have a Prism or a Simian Spirit Guide, for example. So we can have we can clear the board a bit quicker than turn 4. And since we played Spirit, we played Merfolk, we played Dredge. Even if against Dredge they can recover, it can buy us a few turn. It can buy us a few turn, and it's probably better than these 2 cards, for example, that Giga Draws and Patrician Scorn. Simply because we never put it in, and it's also probably better than Mana Leak. We should be more comfortable bringing 2 Supreme Verdict compared to 2 Mana Leak. So yeah, it's probably something like this that I'm gonna do. So let's remove this for now, because we saved this deck as our Ad Nauseam number 5, so it will stay locked. Nephalia Academy, we haven't played many discard. We didn't play any discard this league. I don't remember the league before. I don't think so. John Abzan nowhere to be seen, which is good for us, which is why I think Ad Nauseam is very well placed at the moment on MTGO, if the meta is like that. There's definitely better decks in that meta, but a meta without John Abzan, that's something we should benefit from. And if there's a lot of aggro, of course we're a bit awkward against aggro because we don't have creatures, so we let our opponents do their own thing. But with the Phyrexian Life, and if we start to heavily prepare against aggro with the Supreme Verdict, these kind of things, I think we can be very dangerous, even against the fastest of aggro. So yeah, so that's pretty much the deck. And now let's look at the results more closely. So I just take this opportunity to introduce my spreadsheet. So that's a spreadsheet where I've recorded absolutely every single match, Magic match that I've played. So only the competitive one, of course, not the casual. But every event that I've attended, whether it's it can be casual event like any weekly event at local game store, which is not casual because it's what I mean, it's not a PPTQ or anything that qualify to GP or PT, but that's still weekly sanctioned events where we get Planeswalker points. So yeah, that's pretty much all the spreadsheet where I record everything. So as you can see, I didn't start my Magic career with Ad Nauseam, so that's the first deck that I played Merfolk for quite a bit, and then I quickly transitioned to Melira combo and then Ad Nauseam. And I'm playing Mardu at the moment, here and there in my local game store, with not much success, but mainly Ad Nauseam over the past since July. So, and of course I've merged because this spreadsheet used to be only paper, and I used to present you with this tab, which was the MTGO only, and now I've decided to merge everything. So that's all our league since we've started the channel. So since we've started the channel, this is the 5 record. The first, I've done a league just before opening the channel, which I went 2-3. So this thing is the other way around. So I'm just gonna fix it. Yep, that's how it works. And yeah, so I didn't do very well, but that was a pretty much John Eldradi Taxis, 2 very bad matchup. Just Sky Control that should be good, but didn't go through, and then good matchup. So that's the league that that is not on that I didn't record, and all the rest you have everything on the MTG Modern Ad Nauseam channel. So this league, we started with Dredge and we ended up playing double Dredge. Dredge is a good matchup for Ad Nauseam, so we're going 1-1 here. Of course, we're a bit disappointed, but Dredge is still a very good deck that can be really fast. We can't expect to win all the deck, and if we see that this Dredge deck appears regularly in our league, we can even increase the matchup. We have we play white, so we could play Rest in Peace. We could play Relic of Progenitus as well. It makes us draw a card as well, so it's synergized well with what we're trying to do. So I wouldn't mind putting a couple of Relic of Progenitus, probably more Relic than Rest in Peace, because it's synergized with our thing. But yes, that's definitely something we could do. But at this stage, I'm expecting to see more Dredge in the future. But at this stage, I think we have our matchup is good as it is. We'll see how it goes. For Merfolk, I've heard that Merfolk is not very popular on MTGO for some reason. I think they fixed the Kira. There used to be a bug with Kira. I think they fixed it now. So Merfolk, to me, it's not a very good matchup. It's probably around 50-50 against Merfolk. So we lost that one. It was very close. I remember though, it was the match when we spoiled for Ad Nauseam in a very vanilla spot, and we just exile our 2-win con. So it will happen. It will happen. So like I mentioned in one of the video, I did some math about Spoil of the Vault. And in a very simple and vanilla situation where you just want to spoil for Ad Nauseam, and we have everything, we have the mana, we already have either Angel Grace active or Phyrexian Life in play, and we just want to spoil for Ad Nauseam during our main phase. So we still have a land drop, so really the perfect situation for spoil. It's around 17% chance of failure, which means either exiling 2 win condition, which is around 6-7%, and that ties back to the article from Frank Carsten, which already like I mentioned, wrote an article about this. I think it was quite a while ago, and but that's just not. Exiling our 2-win con is not the only thing that can screw us. We can just keep our 2-win con but exile too many lands, and we can't do the Maniac. If we exile all our Prism, we cannot. If we exile too many lands, we cannot do the Storm, Lightning Storm. If we exile all our Pentat Prism, we cannot do Lab Maniac because we need 2 blue, for example. So there is a lot of tiny situations like that can screw us. And we can, if we exile all our Serum Vision, we can't draw. So we actually need to pass the turn. And if we were on the Angel Grace, then too bad for us. If we exile Lightning Storm, but we don't exile Lab Maniac, but we exile all our Serum Vision, because Sleight of Hand does not draw, it just puts things in our hand. So these kind of things, and putting everything into consideration, it's about 17% percent chance of dying outright after casting Spoil. So it's significant. So 17%, we need to expect losing from this Spoil quite a bit, and that's what happened in Merfolk. Spirit. So Spirit is, I would say, still a favored matchup as well, slightly favored, because they killer, the Spell Queller is not doing much against us. It's not doing much because they can't interact with Ad Nauseam. It's just 1 CMC too high for Spell Queller, and they can't respond to Angel Grace. They could still interact with Phyrexian Life, of course, and one good thing is they can interact with Lattice Bloom. So Spell Queller is definitely not useless, but I would say it's dodgeable for us. Otherwise, it's a bit slow. because they are highly interactive, and they're also quite resilient because of the hexproof and the indestructible, for example. So it's better position against deck that wants to interact with Spirit, and because we don't necessarily want to interact with them, they against us they will just be a bit slower than all the other aggro deck, and we should be able to take advantage of that because they won't run that many counterspell. I don't even think they would run other counterspell other than the Mausoleum and Spellcaller, which are the Spirit. So we saw that Mausoleum is also a good card against us. It slows us down, and they can flash thing to pump it up. We saw there was one scenario where they could have won if they could if the Spirit player could flash Rattle Chain just to pump the Mausoleum and then use it to counter Ad Nauseam. So some deck tech like that can work. One good thing about them is one of the really good cards against us is this Spirit of Saint Geist of Saintraft. Yes, because for us it's just 6/6 with for 3 mana. There's a huge value. There's nothing much we can do. We have no blockers or anything. So a turn 2 Geist in this bound version, I think we've seen it pretty much every game. That puts a lot of pressure, especially turn 1. It's even better than this. It's turn 1 Noble Hierarch, turn 2 Geist, and it's attacking for 7. A 7 is a turn 3 clock. So yeah, Spirits, let's be careful, even though I think overall we have a slightly favored matchup. The final is the RG Breach. So another version again, another like Titan version. As we can see, we are pretty good against Titan Shift. That's the deck we've seen the most so far, with 3 times and 3 wins. This one is a little bit more complicated because the RG Breach, that's why I like to put a different name, because the Through the Breach version is playing a playset of Emrakul, and that's pretty much how we lost one of the game, early Through the Breach that bring in Emrakul, and then make us sack all our permanent. And the game 3 was also Through the Breach before for a normal Titan. So anyway, this version is a bit more complicated because this RG Breach, we don't have many things to interact with this Breach. We could pact, but if we pact on the turn 3, it means that we need to combo the turn after, or we need to have an Angel Grace to do a Force of Will effect. It's a bit narrow, so we expect to struggle against this deck more than the Titan Shift, and also they play Calice. They play Calice. They play 2, 3, 4 Calice. I've checked the version on MTG Top 8, and it goes from 2 to 4. And in game 3, we had a Calice at 0 and 1. That's very difficult for us. Very difficult. Echoing Truth can save us in this scenario, but we only have 1 in the deck, no tutor, so it's not ideal. But we need to be careful. Titan Shift play Echoing Truth as well. But our mistake was to remove the leyline in game 3 here. I guess there's some discussion in MTG Salvation forum. I'm quite active on this forum if you want to have a look. And some Ad Nauseam player are arguing about whether we should bring Leyline of Sanctity against this Titan Shift, because we could argue that our matchup is already good enough, and diluting our deck for Leyline might not be useful, especially that if they bring the Titan, they will just swing with the Titan and kill us with that. Not necessarily need the Valaku trigger. A pure Scape Shift deck with no Titans, I would say pure the control version that I haven't seen for a while. Like when I started Magic, I saw a lot of Scape Shift deck with blue. And there were Bring to Light version just after Bring to Light got printed as well. I was playing a lot of Counterspell, a lot of Remand, these kind of things, just to do control their way through and play Scape Shift. And now it's the Titans. the Titan version, and yeah, so this matchup should be alright for us. So do we need to go through the Line of Sanctity against against Bridge? It would have helped us a lot. And I still think personally that we should bring it. So next time I will definitely bring it, whether it's Titan Shift or Bridge, because it's still slow them down quite a lot. And if we can do the combo Line of Sanctity plus Fear Action and Life, because they don't have they can't use their trigger, it takes ages for them to just attack with the Titan every turn. And that give us the time to assemble our combo if we need it. So that's pretty much it. I just want to introduce also this result tab. So that's pretty much the summary of all my magic, all the match, and that's just a summary of all the match that I've played. I can just enter here the deck that I want. So all means all the match. So we can see that in my magic career I've played Merfolk against Merfolk 21 times. So that's the deck that I've played the most by far. A lot of Merfolk in my local meta. Most of this match are I would say 90% of the match are from my local game store on some PPTQ GP that I've played. So a lot of Merfolk, and we could see that I've done very poorly. Only 5 wins against Merfolk. That's one of the reasons that I played the deck. I decided to buy the deck and play it. I had quite a lot of my first 4 zeros. A lot of good fun with Merfolk. Very, very powerful deck. So that's why I know that I think a lot of people think they're favored against Ad Nauseam is favored against Merfolk. I don't think so. I don't think it's a 50-50. It might even be the other way. So yeah, so this one is a bit confusing because there's everything. So it's not just Ad Nauseam, it's everything. So we don't really know which matchup where belongs to which one. So I can just change in Ad Nauseam, and here that's all my Ad Nauseam matchup. And we can see that we have a pretty good matchup against combo so far. 4-5 against Dredge, so we had 4 loss against Dredge. Titan Shift is a 3-3. Tech Turn, that was my local meta. For a while we had quite a bit of player playing Tech Turn. Very good matchup for us, as you can see. So it was a 4-4 against Tech Turn. Parameter Ascension we managed to get through. This one is just a column just for brew, for things I don't really know how to classify or haven't taken the time to classify them properly. Okay against aggro. Against aggro, we positive, so we more than 50% aggro. And C1 1-4 against Merfolk. So only 1 victory against Merfolk with my Ad Nauseam. So that's why I believe that we are not very favored. 3-3 win against Affinity. I think we got lucky. I don't think we're that good against Affinity, especially we don't play Hercules Recall at all. But you've seen all the match, I think all the Affinity are on MTGO. And yeah, a little bit of here and there. Good against Ally. Bound Eldrazi. We haven't played against Bound Eldrazi online. We played the Eldrazi Tron, which it's good to know that it's not in the list. So we'll have to add it at some point. And but it's good to know that we're good against Bound Eldrazi. Should be a deck that we're gonna see quite a bit in the future. Mid range, ouch. 0-4 against Junt. I'm very it very frustrates me to see that number because I did a terrible misplay at the local game store against Junt. We were 1-1. I was on the play. Game 3, I had a ley line, I had a Lotus Bloom, I had the combo in hand, I have everything, the perfect hand, and I was so excited that I actually start by exiling Lotus Bloom. And I just at this exact point I realized that I forgot to put my ley line. And I see and in that case I'm not even asking my opponent. That's my mistake. It's just my problem. So if I forget, I forget. I just look at my opponent, and I think he understands what I've done. And he's doing turn 1 discard, turn 2 discard, turn 3, etc. And he had only this card. He had nothing else, and he was a turn 4 kill, easy turn 4 kill for me with a ley line. And I would have won the game 2-1, and we will see a 1-4. Very frustrated by this game, because now it says that I have 0-4, but I should have had this win against John because of this ley line that I missed. But yeah, so in terms of mid-range, we're not great, but that we know. And control, and I am very surprised. Because my first few matches with Ad Nauseam were very great against control. So I pretty much won my first 4 or 5 match against control, and I pretty much lost all the rest. So got a good run against Mono Utron. For some reason, I played a lot of Mono Utron in my local game store. The first few weeks I was playing Ad Nauseam with good results. But this Jeskai control, we should be favored, and I've run into trouble. Jeskai Nahiri, I remember going. I think my first 3 win. This 3 win, it was the first 3, and I went 2-0 the first 3, and then I couldn't get anything. Grixis control. Grixis even it's more difficult than Jeskai because they have the discard. Which is good because we don't see any of this deck on MTGO. All of these matchup are from my local game store. So here it is. Yeah, I wanted to introduce you to my spreadsheet, and every wrap up I will just update this spreadsheet, and we can build from there, and really understand how our deck, how Ad Nauseam is positioned in the current meta. So it was a fairly long wrap up, I guess, but I wanted to spend time to discuss about this league and about my work with the spreadsheet. So thank you very much for watching. I am not sure what I'm going to do for next league. I am torn between changing completely the deck and going towards more brew version that I want to do for quite a bit of time, with adding some control component, more counter spell, and changing a little bit how the deck works. The problem is I don't really want to play a deck if it's not optimum in a way. And based on my play tasting, it seems that I need to acquire quite a bit of cards, because I need to get this kind of deck only works in a fetch mana base. There's no way you can work with temples. These kind of problems, and I don't want to put in the channel a deck that's not perfectly optimized. So I might just run it on paper, because I have all the cards on paper first, and in the meantime on this MTGO channel I can carry on with this with the solid list, the list that we know puts up results, the spoiled version with the temples. So I might just readjust, like I mentioned, readjust the sideboard, put some maybe Supreme Verdict, things like that, just to see how it goes. Maybe try again some alternate win con. Maybe I can try a Grave Titan or something like this. Teferi can be useful. It's also it's good against control, so maybe not towards that thing. But yes, so a few ideas in mind, and see you soon in the deck tech of League number 6. Time flies, and thank you very much for watching. That was Jonathan. Cheers.